Oh, what a beautiful family moment captured there by our senior NFL insider, Josina Anderson. Joe, shutting down the link. Take us through the sights and sounds of what you've been through over the last couple hours there after the final whistle.
Well, first of all, I have cleared the smoke in the locker room that Fletcher Cox had blowing in my face. He said he was going to have a liver check after the game because he might have a few adult beverages. But let me tell you, if there was going to be a time where it's allowed, it is after winning the NFC Conference Championships. And I was talking to Brandon Graham this week on the phone. He called me. We talked about the intimidation factor. He tried to use the reverse psychology, saying, oh, we're ranked 5th with the power rankings, even though that was before the division champions. We're the ones that have to prove ourselves. No one's talking about us. But let me tell you, when I woke up this morning and I saw Ndamukong Suh tweet on Twitter, even in my 13 years, it still feels good. And then I watched him walk out that tunnel and just give this wry Cheshire cat smile. And let me tell you, I don't know if I could say it was over, but it was looking over because they were lathered from the beginning. And boy, you're talking about a defense that had the 3rd most sacks in NFL history come out here and set the tone, led by Hassan Reddick. I saw his agent on the sidelines, and he went off and then just, got to Brock Purdy, and that really just changed the temperature of this game. And when you're talking about two defenses going up against one another as far as being presented in this game, with the 49ers led by DeMeco Ryans, who used to play here between 2015 and 2017 or what have you, and then being the defensive coordinator and really giving the personality, it was still the Eagles defense that rose to the top at the end of this game. And just some beautiful moments with personal stories of perseverance from Brandon Graham from the Achilles injury last year, to talking to A.J. Brown, to, Darius Slay, who's never met a colorful language interview that he will refuse. So, they're having a good time out here.
Joe, magical moments there on the Philly side, but for every joy, there is an equal and opposite heartbreak. Can you take us through some of the sights and sounds, what you took in on the San Francisco side, and what was the culmination of a season really marked by adversity this year?
Well, I think it starts with just watching them come off the sideline. First and foremost, the 49ers had a commendable season. And not only that, but they were all gentlemanlike in terms of the way I saw them walk off the field, shaking hands, even though it did get testy towards there at the end with Trent Williams and what have you. But it's just sad to see, Kyle Shanahan. I think, I covered the Denver Broncos for 6 years with his father, Mike Shanahan, and obviously a lot of that intellectual genius passing down to his son, not being able to capture it after what happened in Atlanta, and another chance in the Super Bowl, not getting it here done today. But I thought that, how many quarterbacks can you run through? I mean, they had it. They're a Super Bowl caliber team. But I did look on my Twitter and saw someone ask Brock Purdy how his elbow was feeling, and he said it was extremely painful. I would say the one thing that kind of stood out to me from halftime is, I know obviously it didn't feel good, but if he eventually did come in the game, and even though, he maybe wasn't going to win the game, I personally felt like he still should have just started from the beginning. Josh Johnson, even though he is a veteran that's been in the league for a long time, just was not getting it done, just too much rust. And even if he couldn't throw it, I just felt like I wanted to see the best person out there, and that was Brock Purdy, even if it was with one arm.
Well, Josina, we appreciate your work all season long, traveling coast to coast, bringing us all the latest from the biggest matchups on the board. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Moose. Back to you.
All right, some heady space here for the Birds. Dominant fashion. They have punched their ticket to Super Bowl 57, winning back-to-back games by 24 or more points. And coincidentally, the only teams to have done that in the playoffs, the 49ers, in back-to-back seasons in 1988 and 89. And usually that means you're hoisting the Lombardi.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.